wherever you are, just start to settle in and find some stillness. Get really situated and comfortable. So if you feel like some muscle is still tense or you're having to prop yourself up a little bit too much, just get someplace where you can sit really comfortably and just surrender and sink into wherever it is you are. And then start to check in with your breath. Not trying to change anything just yet, but just notice how your breath feels right now. Maybe it's a little shallow or a little bit fast. Maybe you were rushing to get here. Or doing something silly like muting yourself instead of the rest of the people in the room. Either way, just try to notice that without any judgment. And just let it go. And maybe start to lengthen your breath. Taking nice deep inhales through the nose, filling all the way up in your belly. And then a nice deep exhale out through the mouth. Really letting it go. Big inhale through the nose. And exhale out through the mouth. Do a couple more just like that, nice audible breaths. And see if you can notice as you're breathing, if there's something you can release, a muscle you can sink into a little bit, letting go of some tension, letting go of whatever story you brought onto your mat with you. We'll have the Six of Swords as one of our guides tonight. So trying to let go of anything in the mental space. Maybe you're getting a little fidgety. We've been sitting for a couple minutes now. Just really being an observer of the mind, almost stepping outside of your body tonight. So on your next inhalation, if your eyes have been closed, you can start to flutter them open. And we'll just start with a nice big morning type stretch. So bringing those hands up overhead. Maybe you interlace your fingers and lift one shoulder and then the other. Maybe you draw your fingers down toward the crown of your head to give your wrist a little stretch. Whatever feels nice right here, right now. Let's interlace those fingers and bring your palms toward the sky and find some length in both sides of your torso. Move around, whatever's comfortable. Keep dropping your shoulders down your back. And then slowly letting go of your hands, bringing your hands back down at your sides. We'll inhale and lift our arms up again. And exhale out through the mouth, hands come to our heart. One more time, filling up with air on your inhale. Big exhale, out your mouth, bringing your hands to your heart. On your next inhalation, arms rise. And exhale, we'll twist to the right. So maybe you start to hook your right arm under or behind the back of your chair. Your left hand might come to your right knee if that's comfortable. And just allow yourself to fall into this twist. Take a big inhalation and really lengthen your spine, sitting up tall. And on your exhale, sink into the twist a little more. Feel your right hip continuing to anchor down into the chair. And feel both your feet on the floor. And let's inhale our arms back up through center. Interlace your hands one more time. Nice little side stretches here. Filling up with air. And then we'll exhale and twist to the opposite side. So bringing your right hand to your left knee here. Left arm comes behind you, maybe hooks onto the back of your chair or the edge of the chair. Breathing in, sit up nice and tall. And exhale, twist. Maybe you look over your back shoulder if that feels nice in your neck. Really soften your jaw here. Feel any places where you need to send breath to. Any place where there's tension or pain or some soreness. And we'll inhale and bring our arms back up through center. And exhale, hands to your heart. And I'll invite you to set an intention for tonight's practice. So maybe close your eyes. Checking in with yourself, with your thoughts and emotions. Why did you decide to come tonight? Was it to quiet the mind? Was it to move the body? What brought you here? And come up with one intention. So maybe you allow tonight. Allow the fluctuations of the mind to move with the body. Maybe you practice Ahimsa, which is one of the yamas. Ahimsa means nonviolence. So maybe tonight you practice nonviolence on yourself by being gentle to your body and to your mind. Whatever it is, bring your intention into your mind and picture yourself fulfilling that intention. How do you look? How do you feel? Taking a nice big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out the mouth. And we'll bring our hands to our knees and nice and gently standing up. I'll invite you to step onto your mat. And we're gonna start moving a little bit more. So to start out, just bringing your feet hips width distance. We'll find a mountain pose to really anchor us here tonight. So starting from your feet upward, lifting up all of your toes, bring your weight maybe into your heels for a moment and then into the balls of your feet, feeling side to side and front to back. And then nice and gently place your toes back on the mat so your feet are flush to the mat. And then think about drawing all this energy up from our beautiful Mother Earth, bringing it through the front of your legs, engaging your kneecaps and your thighs. Engaging your core, opening your heart toward the sky, aligning your spine. And we'll inhale, bring the arms upward. And exhale, bring them down at our sides, picturing that energy moving to our back body now, anchoring us down, dropping the shoulders, tucking the tailbone, moving down the legs and out through our heels. So inhale, bend the knees deeply and scoop the sky up with your hands, carrying that energy upward. And then big exhale, releasing it back down, grounding you into the earth. One more time, inhale, rise. And exhale, grounding down. And this time we'll bend the knees and move into a forward fold, hinging at the hips here. And if you'd like, you can open up your stance, toe heeling your feet out nice and wide, keeping a generous bend in the knees here. Maybe your belly kind of rests on your thighs. And you want your whole upper body to really relax here. So if you need the chair, you can put your hands on the chair and allow yourself to come to wherever it is you need to be tonight. So allow gravity to do the work here. Maybe you grab opposite elbows and come into a ragdoll pose. Letting yourself sway side to side. Shaking your head yes and no. Clearing anything out that's jumbled up in there. And then finding some stillness for another moment. Again, feeling your feet really grounded in the mat. And allow your arms to drop down to the mat. And one vertebra at a time, really slow, curl yourself all the way back up to standing. We'll bring the feet back underneath the hips here. And let's do some shoulder rolls. Inhaling your shoulders up toward your ears, exhaling them back and down. Stopping any place you found a little kink that you need to work out. And switching directions when you feel ready. Maybe your movements are really small at first and then they grow. Or maybe they start big and then they get smaller. Starting to find some stillness. We'll inhale, bring our arms up overhead again. Exhale, palms come to the heart. Inhale, arms rise. And we'll interlace the fingers except for the pointer fingers. We call this steeple pose, also known as Charlie's Angels pose. So come into your Charlie's Angels pose. Find length in your spine and in both sides of your body. But relax those shoulders down. So any tension you're feeling, breathe into it. You can have a nice bend in the elbows so you can open your chest and your heart. And notice where you're feeling that tension. On your next inhale, lift your arms toward the sky a little higher. And then exhale, sink to the left, feeling the left side body condensing here, the whole right side body expanding. And only go as far as you get until you feel that tension again. So keep checking in with yourself. Am I starting to clench my jaw? Am I starting to lift my shoulders up toward my ears? Those are cues that your body's giving you. One more big inhale, allow that to draw us back up to center. And exhale to the opposite side. So if you're sinking into your right side now, your left foot is grounding you down. Your hips are even. We're just hinging at the waistline here. Allow your arms to be heavy. Allow your neck to be nice and long. And maybe draw your thumbs back. If you're like me, there's a little tendency to come forward. So if you draw your thumbs back a little bit, you might have to come out of the bend, but that'll help open your heart some. One more big breath in. And exhale, come back up to center and allow your hands to fall down at your sides. And we're gonna do a little silly pose. I feel like this is like child's pose for crazy kids. Yoga with Adrienne calls it knocking on heaven's door. And I just love it. I think it's so like rejuvenating. So bring your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Your toes can point out a little. And get a nice gentle bend in your knees. So maybe even like do a little sway side to side, feel the music, get nice and loose. And then we're gonna start just swinging our arms. And allow your arms to flop against you like little propellers. Starting nice and slow, and maybe you gain a little bit of speed. Try to keep those feet anchored and that little bend in your knees to protect them. Start getting a little bit faster. Notice if you're twisting from your waist or your hips. Try to keep your glutes and your abs engaged here, but your arms are nice and heavy. Hopefully you don't have anything. I'm about to whack this wall. Hopefully you're not gonna whack anything. A little bit faster, keep breathing. It's okay to laugh if you feel ridiculous. It's definitely a little bit of a ridiculous pose, but hopefully you're feeling good. Fast as you can go now. 2 more seconds and start to slow it down. Getting nice and small again. Good. Until you find some stillness. Awesome. I wish I could see you guys more, but I can just see a strip of you on top and all the arms moving. It's making me happy. All right, bringing your feet back to your hips with distance. Let's inhale one more time. Hopefully you feel a little lighter as you inhale, those hands overhead. And exhale, move into a forward fold here. Allow your head to be heavy. Inhale, lift up halfway. Come to a nice flat back here. Bringing your hands maybe to your thighs, your knees, or your shins. Notice, sometimes I tend to be a little more on my toes here, so notice if you can balance that out so you're distributing the weight evenly among your feet. Keep breathing. See if you can draw your shoulder blades together. One more big breath in, and exhale, fold. And inhale, arms rise, coming up to stand. Exhale, hands come to our heart. All right, so we're gonna move toward your chair again. We're not gonna sit quite yet, but we're gonna do some nice hip openers. So I would have your chair like within reach. Hopefully you'll be able to see this okay. All right, so bringing your legs, hips width wider, than hips width distance, and have your toes pointing out away from you. And we're gonna do some nice wide-legged forward folds and little side bends here. So again, if there's a tendency to lock your knees, just keep a really gentle bend in them here. And we're gonna start out, inhale, arms rise. And exhale, hands to your heart. And then you're gonna start bending into your right knee, allowing your left leg to remain straight. And you can grab your chair for support here if that helps. You can stay here, or you could bring your right forearm to your right thigh, almost like you're in an extended side angle pose. And the left arm, again, can grab the chair for stability. Or if you want a little bit more, you could go into more of a side angle, opening your arm up toward the ceiling. But we really want to be stretching the whole left side body here. So again, elongate your spine just like you're in that mountain pose. So if your neck is doing something weird, see if you can kind of get everything in line there. And you're supporting yourself with your core, so really feel that right hip opening up. Maybe you bend into the right knee and kind of pulse a little bit to open that muscle and warm it up. Okay, let's inhale and straighten the right leg, and we'll take it to the other side. So exhale into the left knee now. And you might need to adjust yourself with your chair a little bit. And you can bring left forearm to thigh if that's comfortable, but don't allow yourself to collapse into that arm. You're still lifting yourself up with your core, supporting yourself with your core here, and using the chair for support as well. And maybe you just come up and down a little bit to really stretch out that muscle. And start to notice, like I just noticed that my shoulders were getting a little tense, my jaw was getting a little bit tight. So remember, we're being the observer tonight. So allow your mind to watch itself. Where can you let go? Okay, inhale back up. And you might want to have your chair like right in front of you. We're just going to alternate between doing some of those side lunges to one side and then the other. So you can put your chair in front of you, put your hands on the back of the chair, and just do some side lunges here, warming up those legs. Keep going, you got this. Maybe you're feeling a little warm, feeling a little winded. It's okay, that's a good thing. One more big breath in, and exhale. All right, and now come back up to stand with both knees straight, leaving your feet where they are though. I'm gonna turn my chair a little bit to the side because we're going to move into a wide-legged forward fold here. So start to bring your toes so they're facing the front of your mat or in front of you. And maybe your heels come out a little bit wider than your toes here. So you can bring your hands to your hips or just leave one on the back of the chair. We're gonna use the chair for this forward fold in just a moment here. But we do wanna inhale, opening your heart, sitting up nice and tall, find that length in your spine. And then exhale, really hinge at the hips. So keeping your spine nice and long here, allowing your tailbone to move out behind you. And you can bring your hands down to the mat if that's available, or you can bring them to the chair. You can even come onto your forearms. And we're gonna be here for about a minute or two. So I want you to continue to allow yourself to settle into this pose. Notice what muscles are engaged here. Notice what muscles are working and what are stretching. And find that stillness. Remember last week, if you were here, we talked about the 3 tattvas of yin yoga. So the first one is coming into a pose at your edge. So finding where can I really work so I'm stretching myself, I'm in the stretch zone, but I'm not going too far. And then we resolve to remain still. So finding that stillness of the body like a majestic mountain. Stillness of the breath like a calm mountain lake. and stillness of the mind, like the deep blue of the sky. So we find all of that stillness. We're still holding here. And as we settle in this stillness, the openings will continue to gradually come for us. So maybe you notice you're sinking a little bit deeper. Hopefully you're able to be an observer of the mind during this as well. So if your mind goes to your to-do list right away, it's perfectly normal, but gently guide it back to the present. Okay, one more breath in here. And as we exhale, begin to come back up. Pointing your toes in opposite directions once more. And if you wanted to do a couple little lunges here to just stretch the other part of your leg, that might feel nice. And now we're really gonna continue stretching the hamstring and the calf muscle here. So we're gonna move into a pyramid pose. So I just turn to my left, so my left leg is in front. And you kind of wanna set up like warrior one here. So your right toes are at a 45-degree angle and hips are pointing forward, okay? And you might walk in your stance a little bit so you're only like 3 or 4 feet. Your feet are only 3 or 4 feet away from each other. And have your chair nice and close by. So maybe start with one hand on your chair and one on your hip. And we'll inhale. Maybe if there's almost a little back bend here. Again, opening the heart. And exhale again, we hinge at the hips. And just come forward a little bit. Not even a 90-degree angle yet, maybe 70. I'm terrible at math, so it's probably way off. But keep your back nice and straight and keep supporting yourself with that chair. And if you feel like you're starting to shake a little bit here, just notice where your hips are. So continue to square them off, maybe drawing the right hip forward, the left hip back a little bit. And then we'll take a breath in and sink over this leg a little bit more. Keep using that chair for balance here. Coney needed to come say hi instead of be on camera. Last night I was presenting at the school committee meeting in Everett, and or 2 nights ago, and of course the cats have been asleep all day, and then as soon as I'm starting to present, he comes and tries to jump up on the table and he's knocking shit over. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need my yoga to remain in a calm state of mind and deal with this like a pro. Okay, take one more breath in. See if you can lift your gaze and lengthen that spine once more. Notice if it rounded a little bit here. And we'll sink into this pyramid pose one more time. Maybe you bring your left hand to the top of your left foot and allow some of your weight from your upper body to move into the top of your left foot, really drawing that leg downward into the ground. Notice if that exaggerates any of those sensations. Okay, you can inhale and start to nice and gently bend into the left knee just a little bit and rise on up. And we'll take it to the other side, so just switching your stance. So the right toes are pointing 12 o'clock to the mat. The left foot is at a 45-degree angle here. Maybe we start with our hands on our hips. Inhale, lifting the heart to the sky. And then exhale, just tilting about halfway for now. Starting to feel that sensation in the muscle. Feeling the hamstring opening. And then inhale, looking up for length. And exhale, folding over that leg. Notice what the hips are doing. Notice if you need to maybe bring your feet a little closer together, if that feels better, or further apart. Keep drawing your belly button up toward your spine. And maybe you bring that right hand down to the top of the right foot, if that's available. And remember, we're practicing Ahimsa tonight, so if you feel any pain at all, that means you're working yourself too hard. So really back off and treat yourself nice, baby. Inhale, look up and find a little more length in the spine. Maybe kiss your cat. And exhale, fold deep one more time here. Keeping that little bend in the right foot, in the right knee. Keep drawing the left hip back, right hip back, left hip forward. Getting all mixed up because usually I do opposite you guys, but Zoom does mirrored image already. One more breath in as you come back up to stand, bending into that right knee to help you out. Then maybe you go through a little round of knocking on heaven's door, stretch out those hips, move that energy around a little bit. Okay, awesome. All right, so we're gonna inhale, arms rise, and exhale, find that forward fold. Inhale, lifting up halfway, and exhale, forward fold. And then inhale, rising all the way up to standing. Hands come to our heart. All right, so we're gonna sit back down in the chair for this next couple poses. So have a seat. And in honor of this song, Fly Like an Eagle, we're gonna do some eagle arms. So sit at the edge of your seat so your feet can be planted flat on the ground. Sorry, I'm having trouble making words today. All right, so find that mountain pose in your spine, really stacking your head over your heart and your heart over your hips. So you don't really have to work too hard to keep your spine in line. And then we'll inhale, open up your hands side to side here. Holding here for a moment, dropping the shoulders. Maybe you point the palms down for a minute here. And move your hands as if you're wiping a countertop. I'm sure we've all been doing a lot of that. Moving your hands forward and backward a little bit. And then flip your palms so they're facing up and do the same movement. Just waking up all the different muscles in the arms here and the shoulders. And then find some stillness, opening those hands up. And as you exhale, you're gonna bring right elbow underneath your left elbow, crossing your arms over. And then start to bring your forearms back toward each other. So this is a really intense shoulder opener, so if that's too much, you can absolutely just bring your forearms and your palms to touch, okay? So again, don't push yourself too hard. So if you're coming into eagle arms, probably feeling like a pretzel here, you want your palms to be facing each other. And keep drawing your shoulders down your back. so they're not creeping up into your ears. Engage your core, so you're lifting your rib cage away from the pelvic floor here. Your legs are still engaged, pushing you upward. Usually we do this in a chair pose, not just a chair, so you guys are getting off easy tonight. Maybe smile. This can be an intense pose. You can smile and laugh at my corny jokes. All right, as you inhale, see if you can lift your elbows a little higher and lift your gaze. Maybe there's a little back bend here. And then exhale, draw your elbows down and draw everything in toward your center, as if we're doing a cat-cow pose with some eagle arms. So we're gonna do a few of those. So inhale, rising those elbows up, looking up toward the ceiling. And exhale, rounding the spine, curling everything inward. Last one, inhale, rise. And exhale, condense. Inhale, coming back up to center. And big breath out, allow your eagle to fly open. Maybe flap your wings up and down a little bit. Shake off your hands and arms. Maybe do a couple wrist circles. And we'll take it to the other side. So inhale, open those arms up once more. And exhale, this time bringing left elbow underneath right. Notice the difference from side to side. Drawing your elbows up a bit, drawing your forearms toward each other, palms are facing each other. Engaging your core, hug in the low ribs, engage your legs here. Notice where your tension is. And breathe into those areas, asking your muscles to release the tension. Okay, on the next inhalation, we'll lift our elbows up toward the ceiling, lifting our gaze. Exhale, condensing. Inhale, rising up, opening the heart here. Exhale, condense. One more time on your own breath cycle. Inhaling back up. Biggest inhale of the night. And exhale, allow your eagle arms to open up. Maybe flap them a couple more times. And bringing your hands to the tops of your thighs. Maybe you do a couple shoulder rolls here to feel that nice work you did. Actually, let's do some big shoulder circle. Arm circles? What? Yeah, arm circles, I guess, right? Why are words so hard right now? Taurus has got me all messed up. Alrighty. So you can say goodbye to your chair tonight and thank you for supporting me, chair, and move it off to the side. And I'll invite you to make your way down to your mat. Maybe kneeling here for a moment. And actually, let's move into a child's pose for a minute. So bring your knees nice and wide, bringing your big toes to touch. Sit back toward your heels. If this isn't comfortable for you, you can put a pillow under your heels, under your thighs here, or a blanket. And then start to crawl your body forward, allowing your forehead to come down toward the mat. And again, you can put a block or a pillow under here. Something nice and supportive that can catch you. And your arms can extend out nice and long. Feeling the opposite side of our shoulders open now. Sending breath into the low back. Surrendering to your mat. And on your next inhale, allow yourself to come back up, maybe pausing in a tabletop position for a minute here. And letting your legs come to one side, coming down onto your hips. Bending your knees and planting your feet. Start to catch behind the knees. And with control, start to lower your upper body. Nice and slow, engaging the core, coming down to the mat. And maybe you draw your legs in and just give yourself a little spine massage here, rocking side to side. Feel your shoulders melting into the mat. And if you have a blanket or a block or a pillow or anything, I'll invite you to put it right underneath your sacrum. So bringing your legs back down for a minute, lifting up your hips and putting a block or a pillow or a blanket right underneath our low back. We'll come into a supported legs up the wall here, Vibrita Karani. So extending your legs high toward the ceiling. You can totally do this just on the mat as well, but it's nice to have something to lift your hips a little bit. Looking up at your toes, maybe doing some ankle rolls here. And if half and full shoulder stand is in your practice or any other inversion, feel free to go there now. You know, my words are only an offering, so do you. Maybe flexing your feet a little bit, feeling that work we did in the legs and hips today. Maybe opening your legs and closing them. And then start to find some stillness. Coming into the pose, finding your edge. Making the body still like a mountain. Finding the breath is still like a mountain lake. And the mind is still. And if you're having a hard time clearing the mind, bring your attention to your breath here. Maybe even using the anchor words, inhale and exhale. See if you can think of nothing else, even if it's just for a couple seconds. We practice mastering the mind on the mat so that we can be in control of our emotions and remain non-reactive off of the mat. Legs up the wall is really awesome for our whole lymphatic system. It helps with circulation and really helps cleanse the body. Take one more breath in. And on your exhale, start to lower your legs, bringing your feet down to the mat and removing a block or anything that's in your way. And feel free to take any last pose. So maybe you come into a figure 4 for a minute here, if that feels good, or a child's pose or a twist. Anything That feels good before we move into our Shavasana. And as you make your way to settle in your final resting pose, if there's anything you need for comfort, like a blanket or some socks or a sip of water, feel free to take that now and then get settled in on your mat. Allowing your legs to come out nice and long, splaying out to either side. Allowing your arms to come down at your sides. Your palms might be down if you need some grounding, or up if you're feeling like you want some energy. You can close your eyes and just begin to let go. Let go of the practice and anything you're reflecting on. Let go of the poses that you just did. Let go of all the thoughts that were in your mind today. Reflections of the past, plans for the future. Just let it go. Notice when your mind does start to wander. And with kindness and love, allow those thoughts to just drift away. There'll be time to come back to them. You have no place else to be right now, nothing else you need to do at this very moment. You are safe. You are secure. You are loved. Continue to picture your body sinking into your mat as if you were gently and gradually sinking into the floor, like you were melting. Allow your muscles to melt and liquefy. Allow your joints and bones, everything to soften and melt. Your fascia completely releasing. Your skin completely softening. Noticing your breath again. Start to notice if your mind is wandering. Bringing it back for just one more moment. Now drawing your attention to your breath, into your heart space. Noticing the calmness that's there right now. And take a picture of this feeling in your mind. And then begin to lengthen your breath. Maybe you start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Or allow your head to fall from one side and then to the other. And whenever you feel ready, moving onto your side, pausing here in a fetal position, maybe putting one hand to the earth and showing some gratitude to the earth for supporting us and lifting us up, honoring our Mother Earth on this Earth Day week. And then giving some gratitude to yourself for showing up tonight. And then again, when you feel ready, you can make your way back up to seated. You can keep your hands together at your heart and your eyes can remain closed, or you can just soften your gaze out in front of you. And let's take one collective breath to seal our practice. So nice big inhale through the nose. And sigh out the mouth. Thumb knuckles come to third eye. Thank you all for sharing this practice tonight. It was my honor to guide you, and I'm proud of the work that we did. Please continue to practice nonviolence toward yourself and those in your community right now. Namaste. Yay! Good job, everybody.